Is he a deranged psychopath or just a messed up millennial?
Psychopath. It's not the first time you've played those roles, is it?
Nope.
Was he a happy child who became a real demon in human flesh?
This is Ezra Miller, aka the Bengal Ghouls, the Mad Goose Wizard.
How far did the magic take him? Is he a women's rights advocate, an abuser, or a new messiah? What exactly, except for his shocking tricks, has Ezra Miller managed to astound society with? Just keep watching. Ezra Miller, being a superstar from North America to Japan, in his 30s was primed to be a hero for younger generations, but instead turned out to be a devil in disguise. Thanks to his never-ending problematic behavior, he's now just one step away from being cancelled. What two different personalities coexist inside this extraordinary millennial? Let's take a closer look at Ezra Miller.
I find that it's almost impossible to really love or relate to someone else if you can't first love and relate to yourself.
This is the kind of good judgment the actor promotes among his fans in Tokyo. He is also an advocate for women's rights defense.
I think that the culture of violence against women is like deep in the root of the problems in our world.
Wonderful, right? But then what would you say to this?
Did you want to fight? Is that the deal?
Whoa, bro.
Fight?
Yes, Ezra Miller is actually choking a woman. The incident happened in 2020 in a bar in Reykjavik after the woman, as a joke, suggested she could easily beat the actor in a fight. It is worth noting that in an interview for Variety magazine, the barman in question said that this was not the first instance of violence coming from the actor he had to witness personally. Before that, he had to deal with a superstar choking and slapping another customer. Later, Ezra did apologize, and the victim made a joke of the whole thing. 2 years later, however, another girl in Berlin, Nadia, who asked Variety magazine to only publish her first name, accused Ezra of further inappropriate behavior. Friendly companionship quickly turned into a conflict when she asked the actor to stop smoking tobacco in her apartment. They were going around my house, looking at everything, touching everything, spreading tobacco leaves on the floor. It felt disgusting and very intrusive. The girl didn't feel safe in her own home. I asked them to leave about 20 times, maybe more. They started insulting me. I'm a transphobic piece of shit. I'm a Nazi. The best defense is a strong offense, right? The actor came out as queer and identifies using they-them pronouns, however tends to use accusations of transphobia to distract from his own disturbing behavior.
Hey, you just touched my penis. Please don't do that. I'm not transgender, non-binary. I don't want to be searched by a man.
This footage was taken by the police officer's body cam in Hawaii when Ezra was arrested just a month after the incident in Germany for disorderly conduct and harassment. The actor caused a scene when the police officer addressed Ezra as Sir.
Sir, I'm transgender, non-binary. Please never put me as sir. It's not a thing I use.
Okay. I was just trying to be respectful.
If you fail to do that again, that is an act of intentional bigotry and it is a technical hate crime according to U.S. federal law.
These outbursts seemed unacceptable even within the LGBTQ+ community. Ezra's partner, who wished to remain anonymous, commented the following on the situation.
To me, those are clear instances of manipulation, where it's like, are you really queer? Or is that just a fun way to marginalize yourself so you can be even worse to others?
The questions arise for a good reason. When Ezra was asked what it means to be queer, he hesitated at first, and then replied,
When I say I'm queer, I'm saying that I think human beings are amazing and love is an honor and an opportunity.
But is that the definition of the term queer?
Nope.
Another assault on a woman in a karaoke bar, the threats to rob and kill a couple who he randomly met at a market, an arrest for drug possession. Hawaiian local police reported at least another 10 allegations the actor was charged with. But when did Miller's world outlook really go wrong? The weirdest part is yet to come. Ezra grew up in a rich bohemian family of a professional modern dancer, Martha Miller, and the senior vice president and managing director of Hyperion Books publishing imprint, Robert S. Miller. Martha would encourage and approve of any of her child's creative displays, as she was an artist herself. Ezra's father would also let his child indulge in anything, and even took seriously the claims of 8-year-old Ezra that he was going to become an actor. I love my family, and I had a very wonderful childhood, magical childhood. New Jersey was actually a very cold place. There was such an intense concentration of wealth and such a low concentration of any actual human happiness. To give their child the best chance at achieving his dreams, they sent Ezra to study at a private school in New Jersey. Later, they would go to New York, to Rockland Country Day School. The educational mission of this institute was to bring forth the best in every student by knowing and educating each of them as an individual. The school's methods filled Ezra with immense self-confidence.
Even when I was a young kid and I had a stutter and I couldn't even speak properly, I would go out there and stutter. And you know what I mean?
It's okay. Here's my stutter, live with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Young Ezra was able to fight his severe stutter with classes in opera singing, and soon enough, they came to fruition. In 2001, he sang with the Metropolitan Opera and performed in the American premiere of Philip Glass's opera White Raven. At just 14, he played a teenager who accidentally took a video of 2 of his classmates dying from a drug overdose in the movie After School. At 16, Ezra dropped out of school because the success of the movie was much more interesting for him than the school curriculum that he had already mastered.
I was gonna have to take some alternative, super freaky paths in life in order to achieve my greatest super freak potential.
It is especially interesting if by achieving his super freak potential, the actor actually meant grooming minors and creating a cult named after himself.
But I thought you died in the first film.
Yeah.
What?
So did I.
You didn't just know for sure I was coming back because I was the coolest character?
Ezra went on to work on Californication and City Island. Then, with Academy Award winner Tilda Swinton in We Need to Talk About Kevin, the absence of boring homework and parental control, the first big money he earned himself, and the endless flow of new fans appearing, and the status of teenage pain king, Ezra fell into the child star trope. He burst into the adult world way too fast and ended up down a destructive path. Ezra's strange behavior was first noticed in 2016 when he started to actively talk to 12-year-old Tokata Iron Eyes, an indigenous activist of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, on the pretext of supporting their No Dakota Access Pipeline campaign. The actor was 23 at the time. The girl's parents were understandably quite concerned because Ezra had no relationship to the indigenous peoples in any way. After the unsuccessful efforts to bring their daughter back to the family in 2022, the parents filed a lawsuit against Miller. Miller's used violence, intimidation, threat of violence, fear, paranoia, delusions, and drugs to hold sway over our child. Meanwhile, Tokata herself in an Instagram video commented on her parents' accusations as follows: "My choices are my own, and as to the nature of police intervention in my case, it is unnecessary and it is a waste of time and resource." The actor in turn accused the girl's parents of transphobia and was sure that people would criticize their relationship because she is an apocalyptic Native American spider goddess who, along with Miller as Jesus Christ, will bring about an indigenous revolution. This is not the only case of Ezra claiming himself to be God Almighty. In 2020, while renting an apartment in Reykjavik, Iceland, Ezra gathered a group of teenagers to stay with him while engaging in meditations and the use of illegal substances. In 2022, the mother of another 12-year-old from Massachusetts accused Miller of grooming and harassing her child. Miller saying her child was a mystical being who was more powerful than their mother and who would be lucky to have Ezra to guide and protect them. As if this wasn't enough, police also reported an anonymous call in which a girl claimed that Ezra had created a cult named after himself, and very strange things were happening in this house, including gatherings where women were impregnated. After this information surfaced, another girl from the island anonymously shared her experience of being in a relationship with Miller in 2020.
The actor became fixated on her breeding capabilities, she said, and worshipped her perfect womb by talking to it, looking at it, hugging it, and laying their head on her stomach.
People who had escaped Ezra's clutches say that at home he has an altar where he keeps weed, bullets, and the phones of the girls who are staying with him. He controls their makeup, behavior, and communications with the rest of the world. However, it is worth noting that all these allegations have come in anonymously. It seems victims are afraid of the consequences that may follow from the star who played Flash, the superhero, and openly compared himself to Jesus. Flash is the one who brings the multiverses together, just like Jesus. This kind of behavior has been compared to a cult, exhibiting patterns similar to other famous American cults, such as the Children of God and NXIVM. Maybe Ezra just wanted to be like Jared Leto but went a little bit too far? You can compare their stories by watching our video on the Gospel of Jared Leto. The link's at the top of your screen right now. But here in this video, we're going to talk about where all this behavior has led Ezra Miller now. Well, probably the most astonishing fact is that despite the number of allegations, Ezra has faced very few repercussions. Twice he had to pay a fine of $500, while the rest of the victims withdrew their statements. The actor instead blames the media for all the world's cruelty and violence.
I say that because I think that the pattern by which we sensationalize and glorify these acts of violence, even as we mourn them, essentially set a framework almost inevitably for the next person who's going to feel that they can achieve immortality, greatness, fame through violence, which has become true.
However, what the actor says and what he actually does are two very different things. He's not even doing auditions for psychopath roles anymore, he just gets them.
Psychopath, it's not the first time you've played those roles, is it?
Nope.
What attracts you to these roles?
Well, they're the most fun.
On the set of The Stand, Ezra literally attacked the production crew, explaining it as a technique to better get into the character. He scared the coworkers so much that producers had to call his lawyers a few times. But even in private relationships, Miller stays true to this, with many of exes leaving little clues. The first relationship he had with Zoe Kravitz started on the set of Beware the Gonzo in 2010. It did not last long. The actress never directly commented on their breakup. However, talking about her current boyfriend, Channing Tatum, she said, "You need to be so far from who this is, where it's not scary, and I don't think we've ever seen him play someone dark." It's tempting to think that between the lines she compared Channing Tatum with Ezra. Mia Solange, another one of Miller's ex-girlfriends, said something similar. She kept quiet about the abuse for quite a long time, and only when their relationship was over, she wrote in her social media. Surprisingly, being so cruel towards others, Ezra himself claims that he was a victim of sexual violence twice, with the first instance happening when he was very young. There was a close friend who I had a sexual relationship with who really turned on me in a violent way. The second incident involved a director and producer when Ezra was underage. The two claims were both made in the wake of the Me Too movement, but no additional details or actions to restore justice followed. Mysterious, puzzling, and not like those other guys, Ezra faced the phenomenon of fandom. And these are not just his fans. This is an informal subculture community which became the perfect grounds for him to strengthen his beliefs concerning his immaculate uniqueness. The members of this fandom are not just united by a common interest, they are the obedient flock, and Ezra is their shepherd. They are ready to justify away any of their idols' atrocities, or even believe that Ezra is in in danger. This is what Jasper Young Bear, a 55-year-old North Dakota medicine man who handled business with Ezra, told Vanity Fair. Jasper was telling Ezra that he wasn't part of the movement, he was the movement, that he was the next Messiah, and that the Freemasons were sending demons out to kill him. No matter how many demons the Freemasons are sending out, first of all, Ezra really should try and fight the demons in his own head first. Last year, the actor claimed, "Having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment." He also apologized to everyone he had ever harmed. But was that really what it is? Was he just trying to save face out of fear of being canceled? Or is that a smart move to create a safety cushion now to later be able to return with a new image of a hero who walked the dark path but managed to overcome the hardships of it? Ezra Miller may well know that in our times, heroes like him are given a complete pardon. Will Ezra Miller ever really be held accountable for his problematic behavior? Or will his darkest impulses be left unchecked until he may take things way too far, just like O.J. Simpson before him? Stay tuned. We will closely observe the situation and continue to talk about mind-boggling facts from the lives of your favorite celebrities.